start in a moment. We just need to make sure everything's connected up properly.
Oh,
yes,
chat.
I see chat coming in. Awesome. Oh, that was me talking about me. Okay, cool. So I think the stream is working. Here we go. And Hello, everyone. Hey, Jenna, we're about to start. She's like, what? You didn't tell me. Okay, welcome to the October 2025 Game Jam. Super exciting. Great to have everyone here with us. We're going to go through the rules. We're going to go through the theme. We're going to go through assets. We're going to go through, I don't know, a roller coaster of emotions. Where should we start, Jenna?
Good question. I've seen a couple of people mention that they haven't gotten their assets yet, which is funny because I got them 4 times. So if you haven't gotten them, I know a few people said on Discord, so I can follow up and see what's going on with that. But those should be popping into your inbox if they're not already. So we'll follow up with that one.
You know what a great way to start my day. So it's morning for me. It's not morning for most of the folks here. And I just quickly skimmed through the chat comments and I saw Joseph said, I heard Rick's voice. He is awesome. Oh, what a great way to start my day. If only my kids said things like that. Right? Dad, shut up. You're dumb.
It is awesome. A good start of the day. I'm excited for an October Jam, though. I'm excited to see what everyone submits and does and how they take the visual theme. Has anyone done a visual theme before?
What does visual theme mean, Jana? Instead of saying the theme being like, try not to die, the theme is...
So it's an image that... I'm trying not to like take the image.
Oh, you're trying to not accidentally tell what the theme is.
Yeah, no, so it's an image that you take your inspiration from. So you can include the image directly if you want to just directly do that, just like you can do with any theme. You can do the feeling of that visual theme of the spookiness or the whatever of it, and include that, or take it how you want.
Okay, and when do we know that? When's the official we're off to the races?
In 27 minutes.
27 minutes.
Yeah.
If we were higher tech, we'd have a countdown timer here, but low tech.
Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of people have not participated in a visual theme before, it seems like. I haven't personally, but my husband did, and it was really fun to see that kind of outcome. So I think spooky season's the best time to do that.
Awesome. In spooky season. Okay, that's a nice way of saying the season we're in at the moment. All right, so can we quickly rattle through things like the rules for this game jam? Things like how long is it going for? What's the submission process? Does everyone on the team need to be listed on the team? Just give us all the information you can so people... I know there's a million questions on these things always.
Always. Yeah. So the jam will run for 10 days. So you guys get 2 weekends to participate in it, which is amazing. And then after the conclusion, we'll have 7 days to do voting. So after voting, we'll actually do another live stream and play some of your guys' games, which will be awesome. But in those 10 days, you'll want to create a complete game. I would advise not to go crazy and try to squeeze everything in. But if you want a challenge, we're also including a trick or treat mechanic twist. So it's not going to be included in the voting. So don't judge someone else for that. But it's just a challenge. So you can pick a treat or a trick or both if you want. But those will also be announced with the theme. So as far as other rules... you can do it solo or max up to 6 people. We ask that you do only free assets, so no paid assets. We want to kind of have that even playing field so people aren't just spending to win, pay to win. So, and then make sure you have a playable build so that people can actually play your game. And after the jam ends, you can fix stuff. Don't start building new things for it. But keep your original submission in there, and that way people can know that you've been improving and doing stuff while they're still judging. And then let's see. If you find any other people's games as you're playing that are definitely like spam or they just throw in something in there, you can report it so we can remove it. You can use any engine you want. So I know that comes up a lot, but yes, use any engine you'd like. Let's see, what am I missing? I'm trying to look through the FAQs and...
I'm just doing a poll. Someone asked this at the start, a poll to see how many game jams people have participated in. So I'm just creating one of those at the moment.
Okay, cool. Report how. So on itch, there's like a little... Now I'm going to have to remember how to do it. I'll post it in the FAQs when I remember how to do it. But you can actually just report it to us, and it pops up on our dashboard so that we can remove them.
Cool. Let's see if that poll actually worked. And let us know if there's any audio or video issues with this stream at the moment. It seems to be going okay, I think. But usually something goes crazy. And I'm assuming everyone knows the Game Jam page. If you've turned up to this particular live stream and you're thinking, what are these folks talking about? Then if you just search itch GameDev.tv October, you'll get it. But this is the actual link. I'm putting in chat and let me put it on the screen if I can get the mental capability to do that.
Yeah.
Overlay. Keep talking while I try to figure out how to do it. Oh, don't click that.
Someone said you low-key look like one of their teachers. So
who? You or me?
You.
I low-key look like one of their teachers. Is their teacher's name Rick from GameDev.tv?
Must be. That's
Wasn't I saying to you the other day I look like a turtle?
I don't see it, but
yeah, you do.
Yeah,
you're just too
I
kind.
do not. Oh my gosh.
So I put the link scrolling across the screen here. If you haven't gone to the itch page, and can people still sign up, or is it too late?
Yeah, definitely. You can still sign up. You can start later if you want. Just take off some days from yourself. But
yep. And if anyone is looking for teams, then you can jump into the community tab within itch, and you can get there and say, hey, I was going to go solo, but hey, does anyone want to team up? I'm a programmer. I'm looking for an artist, or vice versa. I know there's a lot of people who have been going through our program. So currently we've got our 3D art program running, where it's all about helping people become 3D artists and get really excellent at turning what's in their head into a visual reality. And I know a lot of the folks who are in the program would be looking to team up with potential programmers, developers, or game designers so that they can bring their amazing artwork into a game jam game. And there's also a lot of people from our previous indie program, which is all about how to design good games and how to make good games and how to launch them and how to find the marketing hook and how to really create a game that could be successful. I think there's folks in there that we hammered on about, make sure you're doing game jams. Hopefully, we've got some folks from the program who are jumping into this game jam at the moment. And side note, just a quick plug while it's in my head, we're about to kick off enrollment for our next indie program, which is going to be starting on the 26th of October, I believe. And if you go to GameDev.tv at the moment, you'll see that there's some banners there. It's not open yet for enrollment, but you can click the button and get at the front of the queue so that you can get whatever the fancy discount is at the moment for being one of the first people to sign up. So if you've had any interest in creating your own games or pushing yourself beyond just dabbling with a couple of projects here and there, and you want to actually take it seriously, make a game, hang out with other people who are inspired about making games, then check out our program. I love it. I love hanging out with folks in there. There's such good energy. So
I'll be hanging out in there too. So get to hang out with me.
You get to hang out with Jana. What is not to love about that?
Right? It's fun. Discord's fun. There was a question that popped in. Oh, where'd it go? Can you explain how voting works? So as soon as the jam officially ends, which that timer is right on top that lets you know the ending in your own time zone, you're allowed to start playing everyone else's games. So you'll see everyone's games on there. You can start playing. After you played it, you can vote on it. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 criteria to vote on. And these are all listed on our itch page. So you're just giving them feedback. But the more important thing than just leaving them a 1 through 5 star vote is actually writing the feedback on their page, giving them the information, the criticism, the good things, everything, because you want that back. And then the more that you vote on other people's, the more people will come back and vote on yours. There are no prizes for the winners. That's come in a few times. Yeah, so there's no like first, second, third prize, anything like that.
Why bother then, Jana? Why bother participating if there's no prizes?
Yeah, so one of the good things is that we did get some sponsors, so you guys get some free assets, which is awesome. But the biggest thing about game jams isn't the prize, it's actually finishing a game, which is a lot harder than people think. So just getting that accomplishment is huge. And then having other people play your game. If you haven't finished a game and you haven't had other people play it and experience it, like that's a whole different high of amazingness. So that's the big thing, is just the participation, and then having those other people give you feedback and like telling you like, look at all the stuff that I did and this is really cool, and having that gratification.
So the personal growth is the reward you get for participating.
Yes, for sure.
How much more cheesy can we sound with these things?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Game jams are so much fun though. Like it's just, you're pushing yourself to do something different, and then you're pushing yourself to fit into this theme, and then we have these challenges for the trick or treat mechanic. So it's just giving yourself a challenge to really get there. The prizes, the games we make along the way. Yes, exactly.
There's always 1,000 questions in here. Then we're trying to keep up. If you see us looking off screen, we're trying to read the questions.
We have other screens going on.
How much do I have to bribe Rick to play my game? Well, we will do a playing the game session a week after the jam finishes. And so you have to bribe me with some nice words. There we go.
Yes. Those are the streams for those are already up on our YouTube. So I think one of them has the wrong time because of time changes, but we'll get that fixed. And then they're also pinned into our community tab, and then I'll add them onto our Discord as well, so that you guys can keep track of them wherever you like to keep track of them. But yeah, we'll have an ending stream to really do that congratulations and show the voting, how that ended up. And then we'll do a play stream. So what is a visual theme? So visual theme, I'll explain that again. It's just an image. And in that image, you can kind of do anything you want with it. You can take the image directly and make that go into your game. You can take the image and then have that be your, I'm trying to think of the right word here, the direction you go with your game. So I'm going to be very vague, but if it was like,
for example, if we showed you a picture of Jana and Rick and said, that's the theme, you have to look at that and be like, what on earth does this mean? Like, could it mean amazingly competent online streaming people? Could it mean charming, handsome, beautiful, pretty people? Like, you get to interpret the image and say, oh, I'm going to make that image into this game. So you interpret the visual as opposed to normally game jams are just like, whatever, finish the game or upside down or something. Yeah.
So like our May theme was Tiny World, and a lot of people took that and went crazy. And it was great to see all the different ways everyone went with that. So I'm really interested to see how everyone takes this one, because a lot of people haven't done that visual theme. So,
and we've got, 17 minutes until we reveal the theme, and everyone can get started immediately on their game. Can you tell us one more time about the assets that we're providing? Perhaps a little bit of a plug for our partners, our fantastic asset pack partners. And so we encourage, whenever you see that we're partnering up with someone, the reason they partner up is they want to give back to the community. They want to help you folks out, and they want to make for a great game jam. They would also like you to go check out their other content. If you wanted to take your game and take it further, maybe your game jam game captures some spirit of a game that you love and you want to turn it into a game that you launch or just a game that you make for yourself, then go check out their assets and, perhaps purchase something as a thank you for their involvement in this. So obviously sponsors do things for a reason. And that reason is both wanting to give back to the community, but also get a little bit of business as well. So
so our two sponsors, we have K-Kit, which he was one of our sponsors in May as well. So he is amazing. And he's giving out a nice little Halloween bits pack. And then we have RG Poly, which is also giving out another Halloween pack. So they're very themed to our spooky season. If you haven't gotten that email, make sure you check your spam and your notifications folder and all those different things. A lot of people find those emails in there, but I've gotten the email 4 times, so I know it's gone out. But if you still haven't got it, like, you can tag me on Discord in the Game Jams channel and I can follow up. But please, please, please check your spam folders, your notifications folders, all those promotional folders, all that fun stuff. But yeah, so we've got those 2 amazing asset packs. And as a little bit of a spoiler, something that's in our visual theme is an asset that we will also be giving you. So it's not cheese. I keep seeing the cheese stuff. I don't know why. But so you'll get one more asset from us. It's actually from Grant Abbott. So little spoiler there before we kick this off. But yeah, our sponsors are amazing. And if you go check out their other stuff, like all their packs kind of fit together and everything's just wonderfully done. So be sure to check them out on Itch. But make sure you download those assets before the jam ends, because after the jam ends, you will not have access to them. Even if you have the link in your email still, you won't get them. So make sure you download those early. And that sign up is still on the Itch page. It's still on our website. And so make sure you get that. Grant is amazing. I'm sure he'd love to hear that. No, it's not cheese. Oh no, I'm so sorry. If it was up to me, I mean, it was up to me, but if I chose something not related, I would have done a potato. So just FYI.
Awesome.
Yes, you can make your own assets. You do not have to use the free assets. They are just a bonus for you guys for participating, for being involved, for being here. You can use your own stuff.
I'm going to make a horror game where you need to grow Rick's hair.
I don't know why it's a horror game, but
anything to do with Rick is a horror game, trust me.
Let's see. Do you have to use the asset packs or the assets in the visual theme, or can you take the art in a completely different? You can take it in a completely different direction. Yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say, this is one of the secrets of game jams, that the theme and the assets and the whatever is there to give you a start, to give you guidance, to give you inspiration. But if you wanted to do something completely different, you're like, I've always wanted to make a racing game that's set on the moon and it's got nothing to do with the theme, I'm going to do that. So it's okay. No one's going to be mad at you if you make whatever you want.
Yeah, I think a lot of people get caught up in the judging, because one of the parts of judging is following the theme. And if you want to do something different, but you really just want to get that feedback and everything, then don't worry about it, because there's no first place, second place. A lot of people that participated in May said that their only goal was to get better than their last time they did a jam and the last time they had that score. So having that competition with themselves. But if you want to do something completely different, you're like, this doesn't really speak to me, but I have a good idea, then just do it. Yeah. And then you can get that feedback from everything else that you're doing.
A question, years ago, I bought an asset pack from Humble Bundle. Can I use that? So the rule we have is if someone else could right now go and get for free the assets, then you can use it. So if you go to there's a lot of assets on Itch, or there's free assets around on the internet, and you're like, oh, I'm going to get this or get that, or these free assets I got a while ago. If another person could get it for free, then you can absolutely use it. So if you purchased something ages ago, you're not supposed to use it. Now, again, if you do use it, the police aren't going to come and kick down your door and be like, how dare you? You might, someone might spot it, although again, someone might not. Someone might spot it and say, hang on, I don't think these are free assets. And then the scoring at the end might be impacted by that. But this is one of the many reasons why we don't do prize game jams, is because then people start to get a little bit wonky and a little bit weird with, hey, that's a really cool first prize. I'm going to get the game I've been working on for 2 years with all of the paid assets that I've got, and I'm going to submit that as my game jam game to try to win. And people get a little bit crazy. So the spirit of what we're trying to do here is we're really trying to get people to work on making games. If it's their first game, fantastic. Practicing, getting better at making games. And if you take some shortcuts, if you make a couple of mistakes, if you do things that are against the rules, doesn't really matter. The whole purpose here is that you make games and you enjoy making games. And that links to the poll that we put up before, which is currently 47% of the people who are in the chat at the moment, this is their very first game jam, which is really exciting for us. We love to see that. We love to have people mustering up the courage and the confidence to say, you know what, I'm going to get in there, I'm going to make something. And the other thing I wanted to link to is, say you get there and you work on your very first game, you don't really know what you're doing, and you're not really sure that it's going to be good or bad or ugly or whatever. If you make a game where there's a little dot that just moves around the screen and then bumps into the wall and it says game over, fantastic. That's you making a game. That's you going through the process of what's it going to be? How do I create it? How do I make it look a certain way? When I do a certain thing, the game needs to say game over. That's a really important first step in your journey. So don't get too caught up on, is it a good game? Does it look amazing? Is it super fun? Ideally, you want to get better at those things. Fantastic. But if this is your first ever game jam, just work on starting it and finishing it, no matter how good or bad or ugly it is.
Yeah, just having that loop of start to finish. Yeah. We have a couple questions popped in. So can it be a 2D game? Yes. 2D, 3D, 2.5D. Yeah, everything. Let's see. There was, do we need to make a spooky game or not necessarily? Not necessarily. It's spooky season, but that doesn't mean you have to stick to that. Definitely not. Let's see. There was another one. Will the trick or treat mechanics be revealed with the visual theme? Yes, yes, they will. And we'll, after we reveal it, we can discuss all that. Does it need to be a web build? No, it does not need to be a web build, but keep in mind that more people will play your game if there's a web build, but with the caveat that Unreal doesn't do web builds. So we know that. That doesn't mean people won't play your game, but it's going to be less popular unless you are the one going out and voting on other people's things and saying, hey, can you check out my game? Because as you're doing that and you're leaving feedback, more people are going to come and be like, oh, they actually are doing something. I'll go download it, because they're not going to think it's a scam. So keep that in mind. But it does not have to be a web build. Definitely not.
Yeah, and that's a great point. Also, we found in any place, this is what we see a lot in our indie program, where people are working on game projects in the indie program, that if you make a little video, like a 10, 20, 30-second video, it doesn't have to be with editing and, welcome to my game. It doesn't need any of that kind of stuff. It's just like, here's my game. Then people might not play your game, but they'll watch the video of the game. They'll give you feedback on it. They'll give you their impressions. And maybe if they look at the game, oh, that's kind of neat, then they'll go through the effort of downloading an executable, running 7 virus scans on it, and then playing the actual game itself. So web builds are easy, like click, go. It reduces the barrier to actually giving it a look. But yeah, I'd really encourage everyone to make little videos of their games, put it on your itch page when you're submitting, or share it, put it in the discussion, wherever it is that you want to share your videos. Don't make it massive. No one's going to watch a 5-minute video of you playing your entire game. Just make it quick and snappy. You can use OBS to do that. If you don't know how to record videos, it's super simple. Download OBS, which is free. Just get it set up and click record. Record yourself playing the game. There you go. And then post it.
Yep. Another good, I guess, itch kind of tip is don't leave your page white and undecorated. I believe I pinned it in the community in the FAQ, but if I not, I'll post it again. But there's a good itch page that gives you all the dimensions of all the fun things to put on your page to help you decorate it. But do actually do something on there, because that looks more of like a scam if you're just a white page and there's no words and nothing. So make it, sell it. You want to sell it to people.
There's another couple of good questions here. Can I use my 3D template on Game Maker because it takes so long to set up? I believe using templates are okay. I believe using some previous structural code that you might have is okay. I'm also a gigantic fan of, if you've gone through a project through a video tutorial, whether it's YouTube or one of our courses, you've gone through a project, I'm a huge fan of using that as your game jam game. So maybe you've gone and done Project Boost from our Unity 3D course. So you've got a rocket that flies, it rotates, it bumps into the wall. Start with that and then turn it into something different. Change the assets, change the gameplay, change the tuning of it. And you've already got that little bit of a head start. Remember, this is not a competition. This is not something where there's going to be the did you do it right police. There's no consequences for kind of doing it a certain way and not quite getting it right. But if you want a starting point, so long as you don't go and buy a gigantic starter kit, from the asset store that's already got all the code and the game's fantastic and it costs you money, as we talked about before, if it's free and other people can access it, that's okay. So I think it's okay to have a starting point for sure. You're here to practice making games. The other question, Jana, that perhaps I can throw to you is, can I use AI, that I've seen pop up a couple of times now?
I know that was a big topic in May of what is AI useful for? Should I use it? Should I not? Can I use it? All that fun stuff. Our simple line is yes, just use them ethically and legally. So I don't. It's going to be a huge topic if we start diving into that, but we'll leave it at that. If there's a specific question, then we can answer that. But AI, I know people are both sides of the fence there. So
yeah, and we do have to be a bit careful. I don't like being careful on this topic because I'd like to just speak freely on it. And we've had streams and conversations and videos where we've talked about AI a bunch because different people have different opinions. We don't want to offend anyone with our particular position. So we try to take a very neutral opinion position on this. We're not here to be advocates for or advocates against. What I would say is if you've got AI support with your coding and your development and your programming, that's pretty normal and natural. I'd say the vast majority of our community use some sort of AI, generative AI support for how do I make my code better or why does my code not work? And whether that's ChatGPT saying, hey, I want to make my character explode when it bumps into the wall. How should I do that? Oh, cool. There's some code. I would say most people will be doing that. And of course, there's no way for us to know whether you do it or not. So, there it is. It's probably something that most people are going to do. In terms of creating art assets, that's the major area of contention. I would say if you're doing any sort of inspiration art, like, oh, what could my game look like? If you're doing any sort of mostly inspiration concept type stuff, then if you do that, you're not sharing that with anyone. It's just for you. It's to give you ideas. That's probably pretty safe and pretty good to do. If you're going to create AI as, say, your game's box art or your image, say, here's my game, I would recommend being very careful to make it if you use AI as some sort of catalyst for that, is you then go and modify it somewhat yourself as well. So it's yours. You're taking the inspiration and you're modifying it. There'll still be people, what's the best way to phrase this? If you do something that looks obviously janky AI slop and you put it as your image, then people will be like, nah, put in some effort, would you? So it's still a lot of a gray area. But from our point of view, as organizers of this game jam, we're not going to get there and audit, did you use AI or did you not? But there might be some community feedback if you do something that looks a little bit sloppy and messy and ugly. So that's the current state of the nation with AI.
Yeah. Okay, there's 2 questions that popped in. The first one is there a dedicated Discord room for this game jam? Yes, it's literally called Game Jams. Mm-hmm. If you don't have access to it, at the top of your Discord, you hit channels and roles. There's a question. Actually, let me just click it so I can tell you exactly what it says. It says, what additional channels would you like to see? And there's one that says Game Jams. So if you click that one, it'll give you access to those channels. Which there's the game jams, there's a post your game jam, so you can post your link and get some feedback. And then there's also a looking for a group in there. So if you want to find some other people to jam with. There was another question, and then now this scrolled away, so I don't know where it went.
Oh, I put that in the wrong channel. I gotta put this in this one.
How do I post a game for the game jam? So we have 1 minute, so I'm gonna be
1 minute till reveal. So yeah, okay.
Okay, so you have to make your own page on your itch. And then you would submit it into that. So after you make your page for your game, that's where you edit it, you upload your builds, everything. Then you actually go into the jam page and submit it. And then there'll be some questions on there for your submission, like who was involved, all that fun stuff. So, okay, got 30 seconds.
Yeah, quickly, can we use limited free time assets if they're free during the game jam duration? Yes, I think so. That would be if someone else can use those assets during the game jam for free, then yes, you can use them.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. Okay, got like 20 seconds. So I just click save. I have this ready to pop up.
Jana's going to do the big reveal. Are you able to share your screen with anything?
After I hit save, I can.
After you hit save. Okay, so we're about to reveal the theme. It's going to be a visual theme, which will be an image. And then you take the image and you're like, oh, I'll take inspiration from that and I'll go make a particular game. You can make a game on any topic, any engine. It can be 2D, it can be 3D, it can be multiplayer, single player. Did you just do something? Did you?
Yeah, it's live. So
oh my goodness,
I'm sharing my screen if you want to.
Yes.
Click the button.
Boop.
All right.
Okay. What do we got?
Here we have our visual theme, And if
That's
you
the
want this
image?
asset,
That's the
yes,
image there that we're basing everything upon, that image?
if you want
Okay,
this
got it.
asset, click here. It is an instant download. So once you click it, it'll download to zip file, which is this model. This image was actually, I put it together in Unreal. I'm very proud of myself for that. I've had my husband's help, but so you actually get this model. So you can take this model and do something else with it. Then down here we have our trick or treat, pick your twist. So these are just 2 different mechanics that you can add. It's a challenge. It's not required. Here's your trick, so a helpful feature that turns against you, or your treat, a checkpoint system to never lose your place. So those are, again, are just challenges. You do not have to include them at all.
Okay. So if someone wants a little bit of extra, what the heck shall I do with a TV image? Then there's a couple of
Yes.
extra things down there. A helpful feature that turns against you. Can you do both, or is it one or the
You
other?
could do both. Yes, they're
Okay.
just extra challenges.
Okay. You don't have to do those. They're optional.
Yes.
But the
Yes.
visual theme is it's a dark room or a dark something with a TV with static on it. Relevant because we're GameDev.tv, so there's a TV
Mhm.
that's part of the whole equation here. So as a visual theme, goodness me, could you be playing inside the TV, or you are the TV, or you have to rescue the TV, or you're the TV head people, or the TV's possessed, or
You
it's like,
find the TV
is
out
it
in the
the
woods.
ring where the
Yeah.
things climb out of the TV?
Yep.
So, so you can make any
Yeah.
sort of game inspired by this image. Does it have to look like this, Jana, or can it just be inspired by this?
Just inspired. So you can literally take this image and like put it somewhere. You can take the model, since we are giving you that model, and just include it somewhere. It doesn't even have to, like, the static's there, but you can just put it in a house, and it doesn't even have to be spooky because the model's there. You can make your own TV. You can kind of do whatever you want with it. If you just want this feeling of this creepiness, then go after it.
It's also an old school TV. It's not like a big widescreen
Mhm.
wraparound flat screen monitor. So that could be a hint to the era of your game. It could be a 1980s action sort of thing because you got this ye oldie TV there. It could be something that's broken. It could be something that is all about illumination.
Mhm.
So many
The
things.
lighting, just getting the same effect, which I had to tweak a lot because I'm not used to that at all. So,
It could be
uh,
a first person shooter where you run around in some sort of military context shooting each other, and then when you die, you just pop up a TV on the screen.
yeah, it's
There's ways
just,
of cheating.
you can literally take it literal and just put that on there, or
Mm,
do some figurative fun stuff with it. A couple people keep asking about the trick or treat mechanic, which is down here.
yep.
So this is just a fun challenge. So if you've never done a game jam before, I would probably suggest not trying to do it, just so that you do accomplish the game. You want to make sure you finish something. But you can, of course. But if you've done game jams before and you're kind of used to the crazy crunch, then give yourself this challenge. And you can pick one or the other or both. It's up to you. But in the white here is what the actual twists are. So kind of similar to how we normally have a theme, a worded theme. It's just adding that in there.
So
If
we've
that
got
makes sense.
our first bit of wonky feedback. I downloaded the TV, imported it into Godot. That's probably the main challenge here. It's completely white, no static, and there's a tiny gap on the model. So
Okay, so I know that the what's the word I'm looking for? The wrap for like the colors and everything is a separate one, so you have to make sure you import that as well. I put
yeah,
it in Unreal Engine and everything worked fine for me.
yeah.
Um,
That might
but
be
if it's
something, yeah, something that the various game engines have their different ways of
right,
importing. So don't stress about it if it doesn't look right. All the assets should be there. It might be something that we need to point you towards a. I'm assuming that the person who posted that hasn't has missed a step, but that might be incorrect.
possibly,
That
yeah. I
I don't
mean,
want to. Yeah.
yeah. There was a question about what is it meant with to never lose your place. So it's just explaining the checkpoint system. So as you're going through the game, having a system that keeps your place so that if you die, you go back to that place. So you're never losing your place in the game. That's what that means. Oh, there's the cat typing. Let's see. If I make a game about a long commercial break, does that count as horror?
That is horror.
Yes. Yes. Can't think of a game name. I am terrible with game names or with naming things in general. That's where I use AI. I'm like, give me a name for this.
So someone's saying, Jimbo Jambo. So what's the theme? Page doesn't appear to update. I see the updated page. Scroll down a little bit. You'll see it says
So
theme.
this is the top up here. Just
Obviously refresh the page. Click the refresh button. So the theme, as we've said, just for folks who are joining us now, is a visual theme. There's a TV with static in a dark room. You can download that, but you don't have to. Like, you can use that particular asset, but there's absolutely no requirements to do so. You can just use that as inspiration for the game. So the game jam is something to do with whatever that image is representing for you. And then, as Jana has pointed out, underneath that, if you wanted to get some additional trickiness into what you're doing, then you can choose the trick or treat mechanics. You don't have to, but you could add a helpful feature that turns against you, whatever that might be for you, or you could add a checkpoint system to never lose your place. So they're optional. They're entirely optional. Maybe that's something we can put on the page if we haven't already. That they are.
I'll add the word. I'll add the word optional in there.
Optional, yeah. They're absolutely optional to do that. And if you jump into the GameDev.tv Discord server, go into the Game Jam section. If you wanted to brainstorm ideas, or you're stuck, or you don't know how to go about doing things, or you're like, I actually would like to team up with someone on this because I've got an idea, but I'm not sure how to do it. Or if you're an artist who would like to make some assets for someone to put into their game, or any of those other reasons, you can go and chat with folks in there. That's a great place to bounce around ideas. Obviously, once we finish this stream, this particular chat conversation goes away, but that's where you can continue your conversations. If you're on the itch page as well, there's discussions in there if you want more of a forum style conversation with people. It's a great place to go. And as we've said a whole bunch of times, and we'll say again, because we've got so many people that this is their first ever game jam, 49% according to the poll at the moment, that the goal here is for you to have fun, learn, and practice the flow of making games, which is, what's the idea? How do I go about executing it, getting some feedback on it, and then improving it? And side note, that's a lot of what we talk about and practice and teach and go into great detail in our indie game program, which I was mentioning before. It's about to become live. We're kicking that off October 26th. So if you're interested in that, or interested in getting more information, go check out the page. We've got lots of stuff in there. It's run by Stefan, who is Infenzia on YouTube, who's made a whole bunch of indie games, and gives just a massive amount of great insights and wisdom as part of that. But for the game jam, make sure that you don't get too worked up about it needs to be the best thing ever. I know this is me when I make game jam games. I'm like, I'm going to put my name against this, and people are going to play it and be like, this is the best experience I've had my whole life. And you can put so much pressure on yourself that halfway through you're like, this is never going to be good enough. I just won't bother. I'll give up. I won't submit. So the win is if you finish and you submit. The win doesn't have to be that you make something that's so spectacularly compelling that they make movies about you and how wonderful you are. That's not the goal here. The goal is just that one step of improvement, that practice. And to reiterate again, if you're not sure, goodness me, it's a TV in a dark room. How the heck do I make a game about that? Then take one of the projects you've already worked on from a course or from a YouTube video, or go search around for a course or a YouTube video to get some ideas. And you can absolutely use that framework, the code, the structure from the course project or from the YouTube video. You don't have to create everything completely from scratch. So you might go and watch a video on how to make a 2D platformer. You're like, oh, follow along with that, follow along, got my character, it's moving, it's jumping, this is great. And then you think, how can I incorporate that visual theme, that TV in the dark room into this? How can I make the mechanics a little different? How can I tune it a bit differently? Maybe it's with gravity, maybe it's with speed, maybe it's with the enemies. So you don't have to be completely blank page when it comes to making a game jam game.
Yeah. There's a couple questions about what the Discord is. If you scroll to the bottom of our itch page, there's a link right here that will take you to that. Easiest way to find it.
Yep.
And then someone asked if Infenzio in the jam. No, he's doing the indie program.
The indie program that if you go to GameDev.tv, GameDev.tv, you'll see the indie program on the front page there, and you can click in and read all about it. It's a paid program, so it's it's an investment. But we had a couple hundred people go through it at the start of the year, and lots of folks learnt a lot. And there's lots of
And are releasing Steam games. So
there is yeah. Some people
yeah.
have completed, and yeah, it's very exciting. Can you just
Someone
on your
asked,
thing? Can you please scroll down to show us the sponsors again? I just want to
yeah.
make sure we give plenty of shout outs to the sponsors and just explain to folks that you should have an email if you're registered on GameDev.tv or registered in Itch or either.
Right here. So if you click on this one, it'll take you to where you put your email in, and then you'll get that couple minutes after you do that. Make sure you check your spam folders, your promotion folders, all that fun stuff, because they do get sucked in there.
It will be sent out 100%, but it might get caught by your
and
email.
It'll say it's from Lucy. So if you just want to search for Lucy, then it'll pop up. But yeah, we have these 2 awesome packs from K-Kit and from RG Poly. If you click on these links, it'll actually take you to the kits, not to download them, just to take you to them where
you can see what they're all
them.
about. Yep.
And then from there, you can go and see all their other amazing stuff. So you can check those out on there.
So you can absolutely use those assets in your Game Jam game, but you don't have to. They're optional. It's one of those, I know for me, I love having additional assets in my library, particularly things that are themed Halloweeny, Octobery, when we're doing a Halloweeny, Octobery kind of game jam. So it's quite handy to have some of those assets in there. You don't have to use them, but you can. And as I was talking about before, feel free to have a look at what these sponsors have got in their asset libraries. They've got a bunch of good stuff, and it's always good to support people that we give them the thumbs up for being good folks with good assets.
Yeah, and then make sure through that email that you download it before the 20th, because after the 20th, they will not be available anymore. That is the cutoff.
That's a really good point. Yes, when the game jam ends, you can't keep getting the free game jam assets. It's just for the duration of the game jam.
Yes. There was another question that popped in. Do the team members have to be signed up for the game jam? Technically, no. One person needs to make the page. You can add all of those people onto the page so that they can edit it and adjust it and everything. But only one person has to submit it. But we would like everyone to be included so that when I look at this number and I say, oh, we have this many people, that's accurate. So if there's 6 people on a team, instead of having 1 on here, it's 6. They don't have to be. It's not a requirement, but it's something that helps us determine our numbers and figure out how well this is going, if we're going to do it again, all that fun stuff. So it'd be nice, but you definitely don't have to.
There's a question from Nialonius. Stupid question as a programmer. Is a game jam good to start when I've never touched a game engine before, or should I be more experienced? Great question. So I think it's a fantastic opportunity to go and fiddle around with the game engines or game engine that you said you've never touched yet. And as I was saying before, the way to do it is not to open up the game engine and be like, oh, what do I do now? Because that's really, really, really difficult. Is to get there. And if you own any GameDev.tv courses, or you have access to YouTube and you want to go, so say, for example, you choose Unity or Godot or Unreal or GameMaker, we'll say for now Unity, just to give one example. It doesn't have to be Unity. And then go to YouTube and find a very beginner, basic, like a half-an-hour tutorial on making a little game, and follow that tutorial and type it in, and here's where I click stuff and do those things. Obviously, you can do the same thing with one of the beginner GameDev.tv courses with Unity, Unreal, Godot, etc. You can, the first project, and then work on it and finish it, and it's playable, and then get there and say, how can I improve it, change it, modify it with whatever skills you've got today? And that might be as simple as saying, when we implemented character movement, we set the value as 5. And you've watched the tutorial, the video, so you know, okay, we set it at 5, it's a variable. I'm going to change it to 10. There we go. I've made it different. And you know what? We spawn in 2 enemies. I'm going to spawn in 10 enemies. And you know what? I'm going to go watch another video, and I'm going to figure out how to change the assets. So instead of this little cube running around, I'm going to import one of these assets that I'm getting as part of this game jam. And I'll see how there's a barrel that floats around. Oh, cool. So I think that is a magnificent way to start learning game development, and to give you the reason to follow through and not just watch a tutorial, but to make it your own. And that's one of the big differences between someone who is passively becoming a developer. I'll just watch it and do whatever they tell me to, or actively becoming a developer. I'm going to change it a little bit, and I'm going to figure out how, and I'm going to get stuck because I'm trying to make 3 enemies, and now they don't load properly, and I've got to go do some Google searches, and I've got to figure this out. That's really how you learn. So I'm excited for everyone who's very new to making games, who's participating in the Game Jam. I think that's really neat.
Yeah, and I think that if you know you have this time frame that you need to do something, that it motivates you more to actually complete something. And then you'll be like, oh my gosh, I've done this. What else can I do? And then you just keep going. And then hopefully you'll come back for another jam when we do our annual one in May, and just keep learning from that. So, so assets will go away for my PC. No, if you've downloaded the assets, the free assets by the 20th, you keep them. They're yours. Just follow the license that's included in them for usage. But after the 20th, if you go to click on the link in your email to download the assets, they will be gone. So you cannot download them anymore. But if you've downloaded them, they're yours. Just follow that license in there.
Yep. And again, you can use any free assets that are currently available and free today. You can make your own assets. You can use assets that you yourself have made for yourself privately in the past. That's okay. In my opinion, you don't have to make them from scratch today. You could have gone and modeled a character that again, you followed one of our Blender courses and you made a character and I'm going to use that character I made. I personally think that's okay. Maybe some more aggressive game jams would say you've got to make it on the spot, but I think that's okay. Yeah. So don't get caught up too much about that. Just don't go and buy assets to include in your Game Jam game. That's against the spirit of pretty much all game jams.
Yeah. I know a lot of people have asked about that before. If you're not into the Discord's the best way to ask questions. I pop in there and answer them. So a lot of people tag me and ask me, and that's fun. So if you're not in the Discord, on the itch page, go to the very bottom, join our Discord. We also have a bunch of other stuff that always is happening. So it's a good place to get information about what's going on. If you post a question in the community section up here, I have been looking at them. I haven't been answering as many over there. I'm more active on Discord, so that's a better way to kind of get information. And then there's a lot of people on there that have done our jams before and can help you answer those questions quicker. So that's the best place to be for this. But yes, on the bottom of that page, that's where you'll get all of our social links, that fun stuff on there. But we also have other streams that we'll be doing. So we'll be doing one at the end of the jam, and then we'll do one after voting's finished so that we can play some of your guys' games. So keep that in mind.
Absolutely. And so we'll hang out for another 10 minutes. So if you've got any questions about the Game Jam, about the rules, about how you submit, any of that kind of stuff, then please do ask them now. I wanted to do another minute of brainstorming on potential ideas for what we could do here. And I usually try to, when I'm looking at Game Jam games, I'm thinking, what do I know how to make already? So if I already know how to make, for example, a 2D platformer, I start with that. I'm like, okay, I know this genre. I know how to make one of those. How does this TV relate to it, or this image? First of all, I'm thinking maybe the world is dark and there's some illumination. That for me is the inspiration I'm getting here. I'm turning lights on and off, and maybe those lights are faulty. Maybe some lights are stronger, some lights are softer. Maybe I have to do something within my platforming to brighten the light so I can actually see where the exit is. Or it could be, so the theme could be triggering a lighting idea in your head. And lighting's pretty easy in most game engines. Just take out all the lights and it's dark, and then put in one light and it's bright. Maybe you run over something and then it turns on, and you run off and it turns off again. Maybe the lights aren't like normal lights with a spotlight or whatever. Maybe they literally are these little square illumination, which gives you a chance to play around with what's the glow terminology in game engines? It's popped out of my head just briefly. Someone in chat is going to know. It's oh, goodness me. When you put a glow on an object, I was just doing this the other day. This is what happens when you get old and lose the words for things. So unfortunately, we've got a lag on the YouTube comment. So in 3 minutes time, everyone's going to be like, it's called this, you idiot. So anyway, you can put that glow. You can have that glow everywhere throughout your game. Emission, thank you. Jukip, if I'm reading that right, was first to get there. So emission,
there we go. They're all coming in.
You can have emission everywhere, because a TV glowing in a dark room, that reminds me of emission in games. So That could absolutely be what it is. Or you could, I think it'd be kind of neat to be playing as the TV. That would give me some inspiration. And I know in one of our Blender courses, I think it's our Blender Creator big course. I think Grant actually models a TV head person in that course. So if you've gone through that course, or if you have access to it, then you could create your own TV character who runs around. I think that would be really cool. Maybe wherever the TV character looks, there's a massive beam of light that shoots out that instead of having a gun, you just beam of light destroying everything. A 3D game. And then wherever you look, it maybe it illuminates stuff, maybe it destroys stuff, maybe it enlightens stuff and it comes alive. So you're running around, there's all these statues, and when you shine your light on it, it starts to move and walk and run around. So I don't know. I could brainstorm nonsense ideas for hours, Jenna. I know some people get stuck on.
We have 2 questions. I know it's good though. It gives people ideas. So one of the questions was, do we get a free course for this one if we submit a project? So no, this is a kind of like a mini jam compared to our annual May jam, which has that free course. So no, we're not doing that.
Good on you for asking though, Paul. That's a good question. Not for this one, but for the one we do in May, there's a free course for that one.
The other question that came in, which is a really good one, it says the site advised around 4 days to make the game and 6 to polish, and that really clicked for me. Do you have any other similar advice for first-time jammers? So the advice that he's looking at is down here in our FAQ. So it says aim to finish in 4 days. So the problem that a lot of people fall into with jams is that they want to put so much into it. And because they want to put so much into it, they never actually get any of those things done. So figure out your minimum viable project of what needs to be the core thing. Aim to finish that. 4 days, depending on how big that is, 4 days is a good amount. It could be smaller. And then leave yourself room to polish it, to add those bug fixes, because there's always going to be bugs, always. And if something's janky, sometimes it ends up being a feature, and that's just game dev. But then add those other little things like, okay, now I want to add this. So if you're walking through, you're doing the TV with the light, and now the lights are working, everything's working. Then your next thing is, let's add the next one. I have time. Let's add more levels. Let's add more things. So aim to get your basic project done in those 4 days, and then give yourself that extra time to keep improving. But a lot of people struggle on the time management part. And because it's a 10-day jam, they're like, oh, I have tons of time. But you still want to give yourself a deadline so that you can make sure you get it done. And yeah, feature creep is a killer for sure. That'll make sure you don't get anything done.
I would add to that, Jenna, if this is your first game jam, or you're fairly new to game jams and don't have a lot of confidence just yet, is aim to make a really boring game, really plain, really simple, nothing interesting at all. It's just like, I followed a tutorial, my character can run around and bump into the walls. Very boring game. Finish it like, okay, this is just a boring game. And then add one thing that's interesting. Just one thing. That one thing could be the lighting. That one thing could be a quirky character. One thing could be the way you move is flipped upside down. The one thing could be the enemies are just like out of control, berserk. So that, I think, is a good recipe for, I at least got my thing finished. It's not very interesting. You just sort of run over there and you jump on the thing and you push the button and the door opens. It's a pretty boring game. And then now that you've got the foundation of it, you can say, what's the one thing that makes this a bit weird, interesting, cool, fun, dynamic, beautiful, whatever it might be. And that removes a lot of the pressure. If you start with the cool thing, you can take 10 days trying to get your cool thing to work. And then you don't actually have a game at the end of it because you forgot to do the boring, simple, basic stuff. So I would do it the other way around. I wouldn't go and try to search for the coolness until you've got the boringness done.
Yes, I completely agree. Okay, there's a couple more questions that popped up. Let's see. How did you guys come up with the concept of a visual theme? I've never seen it before and it's great. My husband participated in one 2018, I think it was. It was a while ago. Okay. And we haven't really seen it much since. And I just think it's a good idea to get out of your head of just the words that we use of tiny world, that kind of stuff, and actually have that visual connection to something. So, and then someone else asked, how many hours do you guys work on a jam per day? That's going to vary. if you do a 72-hour jam, obviously you're working like 20 hours a day to get it done if you really want to squeeze it in there. But with a 10-hour jam, you have more flexibility and you
10-day
have 2
jam.
full weekends. Or 10-day jam. You have 2 full weekends to work on it. So you have that extra time in there. But I've seen people say, okay, minimum I do an hour a day to make sure I'm working on it, 2 hours a day, that kind of stuff. It really depends on your schedule. But just keep working on it in that 10 days. Don't think it's so much time, because it is, but it also isn't. So,
and it's don't
let's see.
underestimate the value of starting, wrestling with something and finishing. That for me is worth way more than sort of making a cool mechanic or having it look pretty, is the fact that you actually finished it, because that process of finishing it, you learn, "Oh, crap, I need a menu system. Oh, goodness me, I need some sound effects. Oh, no, there's a bug and it's crashing. Oh, I need to actually have an escape button. Please, for the love of everything, have the escape button take you out of the game." The
Or volume control.
volume control, yeah, or have the volume all set really quiet by default, or whatever it might be. So these are the things that you learn, you discover, you figure out that, if you're perpetually in that cycle of just learning how to make little prototypes because you've been watching courses or following videos, you might not realize that actually 80% of it is doing all the stuff that's not glamorous. So it's really important that you don't sort of get stuck on trying to make your game nifty and different and exciting, because you miss out on the real value of game development that game jams offer, which is the how the heck do I finish this thing?
Yeah, for sure. Someone said, "Hi, I'm from Peru. Can I participate in the game jam?" Absolutely. It is open to everyone. And then there was a really good point from Iceforge. There's always a lot of people on Discord saying, "Play my game. Here's the link. Play my game. Here's my link." And there's always a lot of scams going around for malicious downloads. So when you're on the Discord, I would suggest not privately DMing people, or if they privately DM you a link, do not click it. The best thing to do is see if they've actually been around the Discord for a while. They're talking. It's like not the only post they've ever done. So if they just joined today, obviously, if they haven't been on it, that makes sense. But if they're starting to talk about stuff and they're actually real people and they're continually talking about their game and stuff, and then they post a link, a little less sketchy. So just be careful and make sure you're aware that there are scams of people wanting to just download the game. So if they've only ever posted, "Please play my game, here's the link," I personally would not click on that. So once the voting is live, obviously that's normal when they post about that, I would actually go to the page and search for the game and go through that way rather than clicking on their link. But if they want to do like a preview of before it's done, can people test this? Then use your own discretion, but be aware that there are some scammers out there doing that. But yeah, the easiest way is to just when we're done, go back up here, click on when the tab's open to actually view them all and find the game in there.
Yep. A question from Mech Toys. I'm from Peru. Can I participate in the game jam? Yeah, everyone from anywhere can participate in the game jam. Absolutely no restrictions. Everyone can participate. So look forward to seeing what you create. Mech Toys.
Yep. And then
So just another couple of questions and then we'll wrap it up. Jenna, I did want to one more time make sure it's super clear. So Jimbo Jambo, so is the theme just to incorporate the TV model into your game? So no, that's not what the theme is. The theme is look at the picture and use that for inspiration. And by the way, we're also giving you the model to download if you wanted to use it. You don't have to use it. It's completely optional. It could be a fun thing you just stick in the corner, or it could be on your main menu, or it could be the very first thing, or you're playing inside the TV, whatever. You absolutely don't have to use the TV. You don't have to have any TVs in your game. It's just when you look at it and you think, you know what, this makes me think that, fantastic. Then that's your theme.
Yep. And then again, you don't even have to use it at all. So we do have some voting criteria down here. One of them is the theme, and we're just looking at that visual theme. But if you don't want to use it and you just want to get feedback on your game that you're making during this, then don't worry about that score. It will go into your overall score, but there's no prize for first place. The prize is finishing the game. So keep that in mind. But again, you don't actually have to use this at all. It's just to kind of get your creative juices flowing so that you come up with a new idea that you wouldn't have thought of before.
Yep. Excellent. And it's like I tell my kids at school, grades don't matter for anything. It's about the knowledge. It's what you learn. It's about becoming a better person. So the judging and the scoring is kind of nice to get some feedback, and it's kind of nice to, oh, how did I go? But, that's not the purpose of the Game Jam. The purpose is to improve as a game developer and to have some fun working on your hobby, which is making games, talking about games, thinking about games.
Yeah. And then making sure if you want feedback on your game, give other people feedback. That's the best way to get feedback on your own. So a lot of people you'll see during voting in the Discord, they'll say, hey, if you play my game, I'll play your game. And they kind of just swap a lot. So it's a fun time to see all that going on and being able to play the games. And
timely comment from Zuraith. It's the friends we make along the way. It absolutely is.
Yes.
Absolutely is. Okay, so are there any last urgent questions that anyone's got? Are you stuck? You not know what's going on? Just a reminder, go over to the GameDev.tv Discord server. There's a whole Game Jam section in there. You can get your questions
have a ton
answered.
of things.
You can find all the friends. You can do all the stuff. Obviously, on the itch.io page, there's all the stuff, all the content in there. In terms of submitting, that should all be written on the page. It should be pretty straightforward. And not something you need to worry about for another 8 or 9 or 10 days. And what you need to worry about now is thinking of an idea, picking your genre, and getting started.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see, anything pop in. I know the delay. We're like waiting.
Waiting for people to ask.
Yeah. Good luck, everyone. Yes, I'm so excited to see everyone's progress. Can I stream my game making process? Absolutely. Yeah. And you can share it in game jams. Just let people know you're streaming. A lot of people like to watch someone while they're working. So yeah, my challenge for myself this time, do at least some art myself. Don't rely on asset packs so much. Oh, that's a good challenge. Yeah.
Very good. Yep. I like it. I like it. I like if people are streaming it. I like if people are sharing it, practicing, and maybe coming up with an idea that if you like it, you're like, oh, it was kind of cool. Then you could spend the next few months working on it and turning it into a game that you could potentially launch on Steam or upload on itch, as not a Game Jam game, but as a finished game. So there's plenty of things that you can do with it. A question from just Prim Star Alt. Can I use your face, Rick? For what would be my question. Who on earth would want to look at a game or play a game with this in there? But I don't know. I don't know the rules on that. There's probably, I'm out there in the public.
It's up
so
to you.
Can probably do whatever the heck you want.
It's really up to you.
Just make me look a little bit. Can you Photoshop the wrinkles out if you do use it? Or there's a whole course where we modeled. I think this is the old version of our Blender course where it was me modeling, sculpting heads, and I used a picture of me and I was sculpting my head. And my kids recently were like, "Oh, Rick, Dad, I searched for your name, and this came up. What the hell is this ugly kind of smushed model that was from me modeling my head in the course?" So anyway,
that's hilarious. I was just going to mention that someone that participated in our jam in May, they just launched their game on Steam. They launched the page. It's not available yet, but there is a demo. So that's really exciting that people are taking the games that they're making in these 10 days and continuing to work on them and getting them to a state where they want to sell it. That's the goal, right? That's awesome progress.
You look like Walt from Breaking Bad. Goodness me. It's probably time to wrap up soon.
Now we're just talking about you.
I need the mustache. Maybe there you go.
That's your Halloween
Game
costume.
Jam finished stream. Maybe I can just grow it out and do the Walter White mustache, and then no one will want to join us. Yeah.
All right, I think we've hit our time, though.
Fantastic. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Good luck. We'll be doing another stream at the end of the Game Jam and answering questions and hanging out in Discord. Please do share updates on your game as you go so we can cheer it along and celebrate and get excited. And remember, it's a little bit of a marathon, these 10-day Game Jams. It's not a sprint. So pace yourself a few hours every day or whatever you can afford to do in terms of the time that you've got. And have fun, damn it. We're making games.
Yes. Now I get the theme. It's the GameDev.tv.
There we go. Awesome. Well, thank you, everyone, for joining. Thanks, Jenna, for the fantastic organization and preparation and getting this all kicked off. And we will look forward to seeing all the games and playing the games.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
Now's where you and I have a side conversation to entertain people who are still sticking around.
Yeah,
Before
we're in the
YouTube
dark.
chops us off.
Oh, I love all the emojis.
Hey, what's this first, second, third crown stuff going on? How do you get one of those? What's
I
that
have
all
no
about?
idea. I saw people talking about, oh my gosh. I don't know what the crowns are.
It's for XP for top fans. Is it just for this particular stream? And is it for saying the most stuff? Because then I would just
Let's
spam
see.
comments the whole time. Maybe that's why everyone's chatting so much, because you get a
Let's see.
crown.
I don't know. It just, yeah.
Hmm.
It has 150 XP. It feels like that's the most you can get because no one's past that. Oh, wait, there's a little question mark on here. A place for fans to stand out in the community. The top 3 get special badges and live chat. It resets every stream, so you can always try again. Oh, you can send live chat messages and send super chats and super stickers. So
Interesting. And all the people who have stuck around are just now answering the question that we're going to talk about. And we're about to end the stream and chop everything off. So apologies if you're in the process of explaining it to us. So I'm going to end the stream now and catch you all later.